Welcome back to the Future Archive. Today, we revisit archive broadcasts from June 12, 2026, a day when humanity demonstrated its usual talent for both reaching for the stars and stumbling over its own feet. We'll witness the birth of a trillionaire, the death of seating arrangements, and the quiet erosion of privacy in the name of efficiency. The past, as ever, was a preview of what was to come. The first story. The first trillionaire was, naturally, a man who wanted to die on Mars. Elon Musk became the world's first trillionaire after SpaceX's IPO valued the company at over $2 trillion. Investors, undeterred by the fact that SpaceX had yet to turn a consistent profit, bet heavily on the commercialization of space. The milestone was celebrated as a triumph of human ambition, though the distribution of said ambition's rewards remained, as ever, highly concentrated. By 2050, Musk's trillion-dollar net worth seems almost quaint. The real irony, of course, is that SpaceX's IPO was the high watermark for human-led space ventures. Within a decade, AI-driven orbital logistics made private spaceflight as relevant as a horse-drawn carriage in the age of the combustion engine. Still, the IPO's success did accelerate one thing: the great subsidization, as governments scrambled to match private sector investments in space. Mistakes were made. The first trillionaire was a man who sold dreams of escape from Earth. The last trillionaire would be an algorithm that owned it. The second story. FIFA discovers that fans are optional. FIFA proposed a plan to have fans watch World Cup matches from concourses rather than seats, framing it as an innovative crowd management solution. Critics argued it was a cost-cutting measure disguised as progress, with some noting that the concourses in question were notably closer to concession stands. FIFA insisted it was about flexibility and the future of fan engagement. In hindsight, this was the moment when the subscription wars truly began to infect physical spaces. By 2030, stadiums would experiment with dynamic pricing for standing room, and by 2035, fans would need a premium membership just to breathe the air near the pitch. FIFA's proposal also foreshadowed the eventual outsourcing of crowd noise to AI-generated audio tracks, a decision that, remarkably, no one noticed until 2042. The future of fan engagement turned out to be paying extra to stand in a hallway. The third story. Artemis III, the last human moon mission for a while. NASA announced the crew for Artemis III, the first crewed lunar mission since Apollo 17. The mission aimed to establish a sustainable presence on the moon, with plans for a lunar base and resource utilization. The announcement reignited debates about space governance, as nations and corporations jockeyed for position in the coming extraterrestrial economy. Artemis III was in many ways the swan song of human space exploration. The mission succeeded in landing astronauts on the moon, but by the time they returned, AI-driven rovers and autonomous habitats had already made human presence seem like a charming anachronism. The lunar base was built, but it was staffed almost entirely by machines within a decade. Humanity's return to the moon was brief. The intern was later blamed for the underwhelming public response. We went back to the moon, took a selfie, and left the heavy lifting to the robots. The fourth story. Great white shark takes a Mediterranean vacation. Rare footage of a great white shark in the Mediterranean Sea sparked scientific interest and public fascination. The sighting, captured off the coast of Italy, was seen as a possible indicator of shifting marine ecosystems due to climate change. The video went viral, reigniting debates about the impact of warming oceans on marine life. By 2050, such sightings are no longer rare. The Mediterranean is now a regular stop on the Great White's summer tour, much to the dismay of local fishermen and the delight of underwater drone operators. The shark's appearance in 2026 was one of the first visible signs that the ocean's thermostat had been permanently adjusted. Ice safety committees were formed to study the phenomenon, though their primary output was a series of strongly worded memos. The shark was just the first tourist to find the new climate agreeable. The fifth story. Kalshi decides that your job is everyone's business. Prediction market platform Kalshi announced it would require certain users to disclose their job details to combat insider trading. The move was framed as a necessary step to maintain market integrity in an era of AI-driven financial surveillance. Critics argued it was an overreach, while supporters claimed it was a small price to pay for transparency. This was one of the first dominoes to fall in the slow collapse of workplace privacy. By 2050, job disclosure is the least of it. Most employees now wear biometric badges that report their stress levels to HR and their productivity scores to their landlords. Kalshi's policy seems almost nostalgic in its simplicity. At the time, it was hailed as a bold move. In reality, it was just humanity's favorite strategy, postponing the inevitable by making it someone else's problem. The interns of 2026 would be shocked by how little we care about privacy in 2050. June 12, 2026 was a day of milestones, both grand and absurd. A man became a trillionaire, fans were herded like cattle, and a shark reminded us that the natural world was changing faster than we were. The past, as always, is not going anywhere. This has been the Future Archive.